Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching the Jeff Crouere channel. I'm Jeff Crouere. On this episode, we're going to talk about this 2024 election. So the polls right now are showing Donald Trump ahead. He's way ahead of his Republican opponents, and he's ahead of Joe Biden in pretty much all of the polls. The reason? Of course, Joe Biden is a disaster. His team is a disaster. We have war breaking out everywhere, and we have an open border. We have crime, drugs through the roof. The economy is terrible, and he is incompetent. He's mentally and physically incompetent. Other than that, Donald Trump's policies are very good, and people want to go back to that era. So Joe Biden is desperate. So what is he going to do? First, he tried to tout Bidenomics, and we know that was a disaster because Bidenomics is a disaster, so that didn't work. Then he started talking about MAGA. MAGA, that's Make America Great Again. So he talked about the extremists of MAGA and the MAGA agenda and MAGA Republicans, and these aren't your father's Republicans. Thank God they're not. We don't want any more Bush Republicans. We want people that are going to put America first. So he tried to associate Make America Great Again with extremism. Americans didn't buy that because it's not an extreme agenda to put America first. So what are they going to do? So now they're going to talk about Donald Trump as a dictator. So that's the latest phrase. Donald Trump is going to be a dictator if he's elected for a second term. Let's go back to his first term. Was he a dictator in his first term? No. A dictator would have built the border wall on his own. It took him 3 years to try to find the money for it. Congress was stopping him every step of the way. A dictator would have ended Obamacare on his own. Did he do that? He wanted to, but Congress wouldn't let him. A dictator would have put in a travel ban in place, but no, he had to go to court and fight for it. A dictator would have done a lot better as far as dealing with our overseas entanglements, Syria, Afghanistan. He wanted to bring the troops home, but the military establishment wouldn't let him. A dictator would have just released all the JFK files like he wanted to, but the intelligence services told him no. So he didn't act like much of a dictator in his first term. He worked with the people around him to try to get his agenda through. He did. It was a very successful term. He's going to do a better job in his next term because he's going to surround himself with people that agree with his agenda, but he's not going to be a dictator. That is ridiculous. What do dictators do? Well, in banana republics, dictators go after their political opponents, don't they? Dictators try to jail their political opponents. Wait, did Donald Trump jail Hillary? No. Who's trying to jail Donald Trump? That would be a guy named Joe Biden. So Donald Trump is facing 4 criminal cases, 91 charges, up to 1,000 years in prison, 3 civil cases that are now been filed, and multiple attempts all over the country to keep his name off the ballot. Is that what dictators do? Try to go after their political opponents so there's no competitive election, so that the American people don't have a voice? It's un-American. That's a dictatorship. And that's what Trump is trying to run for the presidency to prevent and to give power back to us, the American people. So far from being a dictator, he's going to put the people first and our country first, which is everything Joe Biden is not doing, which is a good reason why Joe Biden needs to go. I'm Jeff Crouere. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow and subscribe to get more information. Go to crouere.net. You can learn everything about the shows and all our upcoming activities. Thank you so much for watching The Jeff Crouere Show. Well, we know about our economic problems, supply chain issues, record-setting inflation, sky-high gas prices. And during COVID, the big box stores were allowed to stay open the whole time. So many little guys, the small business owners, were forced to close. The wealthiest people on the planet became better off, while mom and pop suffered. The question is, what are we willing to do about it? How can our voices be heard? We vote with our dollars. That's how we make a difference. No more shopping at big box stores. If you can get the items from a family-owned company. We help people walk away from the big box conglomerates. We can shop factory direct at a family-owned, made-in-America manufacturer. Family-owned companies put their customers first, not Wall Street investors. Let's together cut off their cash flow. We can choose to help regular people by shopping with family-owned businesses and buying products made in America. Call 718-869-9020 or visit switch2usa.com. Switch to USA.com.